Hey, Mike, so you explained a fair bit in the first part. Went to the beginning about why you did it and what you've come up with. You said that you're quite stubborn, and that one of the things that drove you on was that nobody thought it was possible, so you wanted to prove them wrong. And you also told me that you think people think that data is easy to analyze. No, you don't agree with that.
No, it's totally the way other people have done it. It's not possible. You've got to look at data not just in one particular way. You need to look at it and say, okay, this is giving me a yes, this is giving me a yes, and this is giving me a yes. If you look at one thing, like for example, Wolverhampton, and I'm going to back outsiders at Wolverhampton. Now, today, there's never been more than 4 favourites win at Wolverhampton. Now, if you look at that and make your decisions based purely on that, you would have got burnt many a times because Wolverhampton's last year had two meetings where favourites won every single race. So you need to be able to take the information that says, okay, at the moment today, we're on outsiders or favourites are only at 42%. Here we are coming into Wolverhampton. There should be 53, 54% of favourites win today. So you need to sort of like balance those two things and be able to see. We also look at the race, excuse me, as a standalone race, and so we look at the data from the race. So you can take those 3 things and put them together and give yourself the confidence to say this is what's going to happen. With Race Stats app, you don't play every race. I mean, it's impossible. You don't. If you're playing every race, you're not doing it right. It's a case of you have to look at what's coming in and when the data is in your favor. And I mean in your favor a long way, like 75% chance of you getting it right. So those who come on to a Race Stats app and think they can play every race, they tend not to last long. Those that come in and have the patience to say, okay, I'm not playing that one, I'm not playing that one, I'm not playing that one, I'll play this one. They're the ones that are still with us today. And by the way, when we first started on Twitter, we had about 30 followers initially. And those 28 of those are still with us today, 3 years on. So, they wouldn't be with us if it didn't work.
Okay, it's interesting that you and also quite attractive to potential users that you cover Australian and UK racing. Did you notice any significant differences between racing in both countries?
The biggest difference in Australia is the size of the market. It's basically you're in running market 5 days out of 7, unless there's a big meeting on like Melbourne Cup or something, the Victoria Cup or whatever. You just don't have the money available in the market to say, okay, I'm going to be able to bet in running. And all our betting is done in running, because basically we can't make a decision until we have the BSP of the favorite. And that's how everything gets compiled. As soon as the BSP for the favorite comes up, it comes up on the screen to say where you are and what chances you have. So in Australia, our biggest problem is the size of the market in running. So the upside to the Australian market, though, is they have some big price winners. It's not unusual to see a 900 to 1 IR in pace races, for example, and they're harness racing in Australia. So if you can see the pattern there for those and play them, there is an opportunity there. Because one thing about pace races is it's I don't know what happens. I guess they have an accident or something. There's a big pile up, and then all of a sudden, because the in-running money is always available, for $1 or $2. I'm not saying you can put $100 on at 1,000 to 1, but you'll get $2 or $3 on 1,000 to 1. Now the difference between that and the UK is the amount of money that's bet in running. I mean, I would say there's never a race in the UK where you haven't got 100,000 plus traded in running, or very few, I should say. Whereas in Australia, I doubt you'll get many races that have over 5,000 in running during the week. Friday, Saturday is a little bit different. So you have to pick your races in Australia, in other words, what I'm saying.
So you have to be, so you can't just really set a bot and go along the beach. You have to actually be active for each race if you're betting on them.
For Australia, you
or
can.
for anywhere?
No. For the UK, you don't really have a problem with it because basically you put your bets on it. We have also in the analyzer, we have the ability to type in a percentage and see if I bet everything in this at 95%, how many will I miss or how many will I get? Now that 95% is based on the Betfair £100, the basically in running. When Betfair published their in running price, what it got to in running, it's based on £100 being traded. Right, so we can have the ability to also put and say, give me a 3% variance on that, or 5% variance, because if I'm only playing for $1 or $2 or $3 or $4, I get the price will be a little bit higher, a little bit lower for me. So we can actually break that down as well. So playing the UK at night, or just setting up a bot and letting it run UK, not a problem. And if you do it on the Fridays or Saturdays, or if you found the one of the pace M's it's due during the week, you can easily set up a bot for that too. Again, if you're only playing for £1 or £2 for a 600 to 1 or a 700 to 1 type thing in running.
Okay, you mentioned to me that you've written thousands of algorithms and designed and ditched hundreds of calculators. At what point do you decide that you're barking up the wrong tree?
Basically, when I couldn't get the information I wanted, as far as calculators on screen, to be able to find something that you press one button and you get everything you want to see. That was the calculator problem. The algorithms, that was more based on the form, when I was chasing form and writing algorithms for that. There's no real algorithms, or the searches are obviously algorithms, but the actual data getting shown on screen, the calculators that I show the users, the ability for them to find anything instantly. I mean, instantly is about less than a second. That took, as I said, we ditched hundreds of them, and you just couldn't. I wasn't happy until I could see everything I wanted to see, basically. And even then, I realized that one wouldn't do it. And that's why we created Analyzer, as well as the BSP checker. So, we've got 4 ways now that you look at data for any day or any race.
Now, this is going to be probably a silly question, but can you identify the most important aspect of the most important bit of data that you input?
Okay. The thing, it depends on the type of punter you are and what you want to do. Analyzer is more like playing the stock market. Like you say, okay, I know it's going to go back up and I'm going to make 10%, 30%, 50% return on my money. That is one way of looking at the program and say, okay, I'm going to come in and I'm going to run it like a stock market. And then you've got the one where you can come in all day, every day, and look at each race individually and play those individually. So there's 2 ways to use RSA.
Is there any aspect of form involved as well in your calculations?
No form at all, 0, no jockeys. You won't find a jockey name or horse name. You'll find no trainers, anything in our databases. It's all odds.
Okay, so I mentioned, so weight of money, that's obviously a big aspect.
We don't actually look at weight of money at all. We don't track it, don't keep it. If weight of money worked, then basically you'd always be on favorites. So if you said, okay, where's the most money? The most money is always going to be on the favorite. So I guess you're saying, did a lot of money come in late for numbers, the 6th favorite or the 7th favorite? So
that's exactly what I was thinking. The guy that was waiting for the 7th favorite, if all of a sudden that what was 12th favorite, very late on where the money tends to come, knocked it in, would that not be something that you would put into your calculations to be more likely to win unless it started 2nd favorite and drifted out to 7th favorite, if you know what I'm saying?
No, because the odds would change because of that. So the more money that was put on at the end, so let's say it was 7th favorite, someone comes and chucks a lot of money on, it'll go to 4th favorite or 3rd favorite or whatever it'll go to. So that's where it sits. So there's no need to watch the weight of money as far as we're concerned. And I have looked into it. It's basically, it becomes the odds. So we're saying that today I'm hunting 15 to 20 BSPs. Now, if that 15 is a third or sixth favorite, whatever, and how it got there, whether it drifted out to there or whether it came into there, is irrelevant to us.
Okay, so your success. We'll go back to you again now. This is, sounds like a real brain drain to do this for a long period of your life. Has this
Uh,
success sort of come out of an obsession, really?
yes, basically 100%. It was just um, my friends basically just keeping saying, you can't be done, can't be done, was just no way that I was going to give up. And I mean, there was times that it was pretty depressing when you were sort of like 6 years into it and still hadn't found anything that, you could remotely say worked. And so, you just keep going. And I was putting in 16, 18-hour days every day, taking the data, working it out, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. So yeah, it became an obsession. And now I've got 60 odd friends in our chat room that it's made it all worthwhile. These people are, have become good friends over the years, and they share everything, what they're going to do for the day, how they've done for the day, and these people also are really into their Excel sheets and their data and collection and able to put up their percentages, results. So it's really great seeing it. So it's made it all worthwhile, basically.
Okay.
Whether I make money or not, it's just good to see the other 60 doing it. So yeah.